Welcome to East Alabama Today, featuring topics, events, and interesting people from all over East Alabama. Hosted by Carl Brady. Now, let's get right to the show. Here's Carl Brady.
Hello, everyone. Welcome into East Alabama Today. I'm Carl Brady. Thank you so much for being a part of our show today. Let me start things off, as always, by reminding you that we are always looking for guests for our program. So we want to hear from you. And the best way to get in touch with me is to send me an email. cbrady@tv24.tv. Let us know about the folks who live in your community, about the special events that are going on in your community, all kind of fun things like that. And you never know, you may find yourself as a guest here on East Alabama Today, or maybe someone representing your organization can be a guest here on the show. But we're looking for interesting things going on in the community. Fairs, festivals, special events, things that are going on with your clubs and organizations, your service clubs and organizations, things like that. So the best way to get in touch with me about those events is to send me an email, cbrady@tv24.tv. We also want to know about the interesting people who live in your community, people who have odd or interesting hobbies, writers, artists, musicians, folks like that. Folks that you think would enjoy sharing their hobbies and talents on the program. Send me emails again, cbrady@tv24.tv. That's tv24.tv. We'll be back in a moment with today's East Alabama Today. Yeah, welcome back into East Alabama Today. Again, I'm Carl Brady. Thank you for being with us on the program today. My guest is Jennifer Maddox. Jennifer is with the Community Foundation of Northeast Alabama, but talking with us today about an overarching plan that involves the whole East Alabama community and multiple organizations, and that's called Clear Plan 2030. And Jennifer, welcome to the program. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you for having me here.
Just start us off with a little bit of an overview about Clear Plan 2030. What's that all about?
Well, Clear Plan 2030 started several years ago by the East Alabama Regional Planning and Development Commission. And they had an opportunity to apply for a HUD, Housing and Urban Development grant, to create a plan for the region that the Planning Commission serves, which is 10 counties in Northeast Alabama. And the idea was to create a plan for sustainable livability for the region. Now, to do this for 10 counties, you need a lot of partners.
Right.
And so the Planning Commission came to a number of organizations, including the Community Foundation of Northeast Alabama, and said, if we pursue this grant opportunity to do this for our region, will you be a partner? And at the time, of course, you say, sure, we'll be a partner. You find out later what that means. And in addition to the Community Foundation of Northeast Alabama, there are a number of other organizations, and I think your listeners might be interested in who they are, so I brought with me my list so I wouldn't forget anyone.
Okay.
The partners on this project include us, of course, the Alabama Network of Family Resource Centers, Alabama Power, Calhoun Area Metropolitan Planning Organization, Community Action Agency of Talladega, Clay, Randolph, Calhoun, and Cleburne counties, the Coosa Valley Resource Conservation and Development Council, the East Alabama Mayors Association, the Gadsden and Etowah County Metropolitan Planning Organization, Jacksonville State University, Sylacauga Alliance for Family Enhancement, and the United Way of East Central Alabama. So a very long list of organizations throughout the 10-county region. And the 10 counties that this involves, and I'll go through that and get the little details out of the way, include Cherokee, Etowah, Calhoun, Cleburne, Talladega, Clay, Randolph, Coosa, Tallapoosa, and Chambers. So they said, we got our partners lined up, and so they went and they applied for the grant and received it. And the grant was received, or was applied for in 2010. And so we called it the Clear Plan 2030 because CLEAR stands for Community Livability in the Northeast Alabama region. And 2030 was thinking of a 20-year plan. From 2010 to 2030. And the idea for this effort is to create a master plan for those 10 counties that are integrated about what the communities, the individual smaller communities, towns, cities, counties, and the region might need to be a more livable space. And
just to make it a nicer place to live for the people who live here, or identify the things that make this community a nice community to live in, right?
That's correct. And it's even more than that, okay? It is, what are the things that we like about where we're at, that we would like to have more of? What are the things that we need, that we don't have, that would make it a better place to live and to work and to play? What are the problems and the challenges that we have that we need to change or get rid of or make into something better that would, again, make it a more livable place? And livability is about feeling safe in your community. It is about feeling like you belong someplace, that you have access to grocery stores, good healthy food to purchase, that you have access to transportation to get where you're going. Most of Northeast Alabama, if you're going someplace, it's a vehicle, it's a car.
You got to have your own car or someone who can drive you. There's public transportation, mass transportation, something that's not that common here in the South.
That's right, that's right. And a bicycle and your feet will only take you so far in a certain amount of time.
Right.
And so, you know, the ability to get from one place to another. I took a trip once and went to a grocery store and forgot that I wasn't in a car, I had several bags of groceries. And how do you get several bags of groceries if you're walking?
Right.
And that's hard to do. So, you know, you need access to not only be able to go buy the food, but to be able to transport that food to back to your home. It's also about what do we have to do that's fun and entertaining? What do we have to do that is recreation for the entire family? I'll bet some of your listeners don't know, and I learned this recently myself, that Heflin, Alabama, which is just east of Anniston,
Cleveland County.
In Cleveland County, is a sports capital of Alabama for sure, and I don't know about nationally, but they have more sports programs for youth per capita than any or other entity in Alabama, and they have some really neat things. They have a Frisbee tournament course.
Okay, yeah.
They have, and I'm not up on air guns, but I think it's air rifle range. They were building about 6 months ago a archery kind of trail off for the Hunger Games show.
Right,
got everybody into archery. Well, they've got some archery trail that you can do, and well, that's great. And that's great for people that live in Heflin, but does the rest of our region know it? And if they do, how do they access it?
Right.
Okay,
right.
And would they want to? So it's about recreation for our families and for ourselves. Arts and culture, you know. There's some great cultural things that are happening right here in Gadsden.
Yeah.
But do people in Center know that? Do people in Anniston know that? In Talladega, do they know that? And if they do, how do they get here to avail themselves to participate in that?
Right, right.
So livability is about safe neighborhoods. It's about access to food and good transportation and access to cultural things, access to health, health care, the ability to go to a doctor, to have access to a doctor, that sort of thing.
Right.
And many other types of things. What makes a community where you want to, when we say livability is, I want to live there.
We want to draw people, and there's so many different aspects to it, of keeping people in the community once they're here, but drawing people to the community as well. And that's a challenge that community leaders always have. You know, I grew up in Gadsden and have lived almost my whole life in Gadsden, and we constantly hear from young people, there's nothing to do, there's nothing to do, I can't wait to leave this little bitty town. But if you pay attention to what's going on, there's something going on all the time in Gadsden, from the Cultural Arts Center to the symphonies to
ballet. You had a ballet here recently.
Yeah, there are dance studios that sponsor big ballet shows and dance shows and things all the time. And Yeah, Wallace Hall Fine Arts Center at Gadsden State has started the new Gadsden Live concert series with a few things coming up this year, and so just finding out about them is a big part of that. And the partners in the plan.
Yes.
That's the first step of making the plan, is to kind of get an idea of what's already going on in the community and what people think about their community. So
Right.
you guys have instituted a survey that people can participate in.
We have. So the first step is to find out, we have two parts to our first step. Our first step is to find out from individuals in our counties what they think. Just, this is, in my opinion, it's an opinion survey.
Right.
So everyone can take the survey, and I brought a sample with me. We have it on paper and we have it electronically. And electronically is at our website. We'll get to that address a little bit later. But this survey is very, very simple. It is 4 pages. So however I point it here, you've got 2 double-sided sheets of paper. And that's it. This is the entire survey. Okay.
Just ask your opinion about the things that are happening in your community and those kind of things.
And you don't even have to tell us your name. Okay. I like that about it. We have an opportunity on the back of the survey that says, do you want to receive the results of the survey, the entire survey? Do you want to have more information as we go along about this? And would you like to participate in planning? If you answer yes to any of those, then we do need to know about you. But if you answer no, you can do this anonymously.
Right.
So first of all, it's only 4 pages. Secondly, it can be anonymous. Okay. And third, we just want your opinion. So I think that most everybody can take care of filling this out.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We need to take a quick commercial break, so let's go ahead and do that right now. And we'll be back in a moment to talk more about Clear Plan 2030 when we return. And we welcome you back into East Alabama today. Again, I'm Carl Brady. We're talking about Clear Plan 2030 and what that means to the East Alabama community. Jennifer Maddox is my guest today. We're talking about the survey that people can take. That's the first step. Finding out, the partners in Clear Plan 2030 need to find out what people already think about the livability of the East Alabama community. And I find it interesting too, the first question on the survey is basically, how do you define your community? Because that's changed over the years. Even, I'm soon to be 45 years old, and community used to mean just your neighborhood and the people around you. Then it kind of expanded a little bit, and now the community has a variety of definitions. Some people see their community as their county. Some people see their community as the 10-county East Alabama area. Some people think of community as the whole world working together. And so you need to know how people define their community.
Well, and every community interacts with other communities differently too. So there might be more synergy between Gadsden and Jacksonville than there might be between Center and Jacksonville. I don't know. But some people can define their communities, and I'm kind of in between communities.
Yeah.
And so we do ask that question in the survey, and we will be able to tell the results by city, by county, and then by the whole region altogether. So, and I define my community as region because the Community Foundation of Northeast Alabama covers 9 counties, and so I see my community.
I see it that way as well, because we have
regional.
the whole 10-county TV24 coverage area, and I work at some point in every part of that. I live in Alexandria, spend my days in Gadsden, then go to Oxford and Anniston area to work at night as well. So I'm throughout the whole community most of the time, as you are, just taking care of business. So it's more than just the 4 or 5 houses in my neighborhood.
Or it's in addition. It's not just that I define it as regional, because I live in a small neighborhood, and so that small neighborhood I live in is also very much my community as well. So it's not either or. It's more like, this is part of my community, and then this is part of my community, and that's part of my community. The survey will be our first step in getting the feedback, and you can go to the survey online. It's clearplan2030.org, and there's a tab for survey, and you take it. And we do have it in English and Spanish, so that you can do that. And we actually have it translated into Braille, because the Alabama Institute for the Deaf and Blind. It's
Right,
in Talladega,
right.
part of our region, and so we want to make sure that those individuals can participate. So if that's something that you, one of your listeners might be needing, we can provide that too. And contact information for us. Everything that you need to know about ClearPlan 2030 is on our website,
Right there on the
clearplan2030.org. The second thing that we're doing in addition to the survey, oh, and before I forget, we have 500,000 people that live in that 10-county region.
Okay.
Our goal is to receive 1% of the population in responses. So we're looking for 5,000 responses to this survey across all the counties. So, you know, every one person who responds to this survey and gives us a different opinion from the different counties is important to reach that goal of 5,000.
And everybody wonders how they can make a difference, how they can contribute, and
Here's
this
one
is
easy
a
way
way
to do
that
it.
you can do that, because your opinions will be part of the study.
Right, exactly. And so you can do it in the privacy of your home in your pajamas if you'd like. That's fine too. But for something a little bit more social, we're also going to have county conversations where we are going to bring individuals that are knowledgeable about this plan to each county. And our very first county conversation will be in Talladega next Thursday night, the 24th, from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And it will be at the, oh, and I'm still learning this, there's a college there in Childersburg, CACC, Community College, Alabama, Central Alabama Community College. I'm still learning. It'll be held there, and what we will do is we will give an overview. And now we're inviting Talladega County if it's their conversation, but anyone can attend. So, and we will have one in Etowah County, and that's being scheduled right now. But if you're in Etowah County and you want to go,
counties, we'll all have an opportunity to have one.
you can go to any conversation in any county.
Yeah.
Okay, but we will have one in Talladega, and it will be an overview of the plan. A little bit more depth than what I've shared with you today. And then we will have a visioning listening session where we will have small groups that will ask those questions I mentioned earlier. What do you love about your community? What do you want to change about your community? And what do you think is important in your community, you know, that you'd like to see in the future? And we will get their input on that, and then we will have them do the survey. For individuals that haven't done it yet, we'll do it at that event. And then we will talk about where we're going forward and how we can move forward in communicating with individuals in those counties. We need your listeners' help in this. We cannot do this unless we have a lot of people saying, you need to talk to so-and-so, or you need to visit so-and-so, or these are the people that you need to engage. While the survey's going on and the county conversations are going on, which will be the next couple of months, and we'll be getting all this feedback and gathering it up and getting some ideas together. Once we've done that, come this summer, we're going to go back and have a second county conversation in each of the counties and say, okay, here's what the survey said. Here's what you said. Here's some ideas that we have. What do you think? Kind of a brainstorming session of these are kind of the ideas we have for this plan. And we will do that in all the counties in the summer. And then we will compile all those results. And in October, I think, we will have one entire region meeting where we'll bring all the counties together, either in person or electronically. We have a way to do that. And we will say, okay, this is what we heard everybody saying, and here's what our thoughts are on what the plan is going to be. And we want your feedback. So this is very involved. If your listeners are interested in being involved in this, there's kind of a couple layers. The first layer is the organizations that I mentioned that are partners comprise something called a consortium. And in essence, it's like a board for a not-for-profit organization. And of that board, we have committees. We call them livability resource teams. And these teams are working on specific areas. They're working on education, they're working on housing, they're working on health. And I'm not surprisingly, because I'm here, I'm on community engagement. And we need two kinds of volunteers to work. On the consortium level, we need individuals from a couple of counties that, like chambers, that we don't yet have a member on the consortium. And that's a big picture thinker. Somebody that can say, okay, I'm looking at this on how does my county relate to the rest of the counties, and how, you know, somebody's proposing that we build a freeway from Chambers to Gadsden.
Right.
Okay, and that sounds great in Gadsden, but I'm from Chambers. Does it make sense to do that? And I can look at it from that big picture.
Exactly.
The teams are working on specific information. They're gathering data. They're seeing what research is out there. They're looking at what other plans have been created. And then they're going to take all this input and then they're going to meld that with the data that they've gotten to provide some proposals for the plan.
Right.
So we need volunteers to work on all those committees from all those counties. And so we do need some additional volunteers from Etowah County to work on this. We will be finished in a year. In a year. We've got an ambitious goal. And we hope to have the final plan in December. And the final plan will be what we think is the guidebook, if you will, for the region on what needs to be done for those areas we've talked about, how to make it more livable, what do we need in the way of health care, what do we need in housing, what do we need in transportation, what do we need in education. The ability to get the right education, to get the right job, and economic development are huge components for our region. And so we're going to have this plan so that when an entity, whether it's for-profit or not-for-profit or a government says, I have this bright idea, I want to build this road from Gadsden to Chambers County, and by the way, this plan says we need it and we want it. Then it's much easier for that entity to get public support because it's already got public support. It's much easier for that entity to get funding if they're a not-for-profit or a government entity for a federal grant to say, you know, this is something that the community's looked at, they want, they need, and I can base my desire, my idea on that. Conversely, if somebody comes up with a great, or they think is a great idea, okay, and they go and look at the plan, and it isn't even close to matching, then it tells them before they even get started that maybe they want to rethink what they're working on.
So a great base starting place for the community anywhere to look at things that have already been studied, things that have already been discussed, so that they'll save a few steps in their process because it's already there.
Exactly.
We need to take another commercial break. We'll do that. Come back in just a minute to wrap things up. Stay with us. Well, we're down to our final minute or so of the program here on East Alabama Today. Thanks for joining us and hanging out with us. And Jennifer Maddox is my guest. We've been talking about Clear Plan 2030. And again, CLEAR stands for Community Livability in the East Alabama Area.
Region.
Clear. Area. Yeah, you got to have the R in there. The East Alabama region. And the Clear Plan 2030 group is looking at all the livability issues and things that we've been talking about. Don't forget the survey that you can take online at clearplan2030.org. You can also, I guess, check in you said you have it in printed in paper form as well. Where can people pick up a copy of that if they'd like to participate?
They can pick it up at the East Alabama Regional Planning Commission office, which is in Anniston on the corner of 12th and Quintard, third floor of the Quintard Tower. They can call us and we can certainly mail one to them. We are all over all the counties so we can certainly deliver a set anywhere that they need. They just need to let us know.
And the best way to get information, though, is in this digital age, check out the website, clearplan2030.org. That's the best way to find out more about what's going on. Keep up with the community meetings. Don't forget the community meeting. The first of the community meetings is on Thursday, January 24th. That is going to be in Talladega. Get the details on the website there. And Jennifer, thank you so much for coming to be with us on the program today.
Appreciate the opportunity to share this wonderful opportunity with everyone else.
And we'll be keeping up and find out what I'm anxious to see what you learn from the surveys and what people like and don't like about East Alabama. That's going to be interesting to see the results of that.
I think it's going to be very interesting, and I'll be glad to share that with you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for being here. Folks, thank you for joining us as well on East Alabama Today. Have a great day.